This may sound controversial, but needs to be asked, discussed, and understood. This is Africa Channel, so we are going to report and discuss all topics African. Did you know that divorce is celebrated in Mauritania? In Mauritania, a country in West Africa, divorce is celebrated quite uniquely. It is a tradition that societies celebrate when a woman has gotten divorced. Contrary to many societies that may stigmatize divorced women and label them as being used, Mauritania honors them with festivities that can be celebrated as wedding. Eat, sing, and dance to the rhythm of the party in the full knowledge that you are finally free. The new dawn is here. It is a symbol of a newfound freedom and opportunity. It is a declaration that you are free and ready to remarry yet again, if you so wish. Polygamy too is legal in Mauritania. A man can marry up to 4 women, but must obtain the consent of his existing wife or wives first. Polygamy definitely does increase the population more than comparable non-polygamous populations. Polygamous populations disproportionately increase because more women are married and could have children. Having so many women and children, especially for poor people, can be messy, financially draining, and complicated. Polygamy is common within the Afro-Mauritanian and Berber Moorish population, occurring less frequently among the Arab Moorish population. Leblo forced feeding of young girls as young as 5 to 19. Obesity is traditionally regarded as desirable. The younger generation view this practice negatively. In Mauritania, force feeding is encouraged. However, it leaves young girls with long-term problems with obesity and some other ailments. Please, I am banking on you to support me by subscribing on the channel. Let us push the number of subscribers to 1,000 this year. Thank you. Let us continue. Heavier girls are deemed more beautiful and likelier to find a husband in the West African country. This practice starts early from the age 5 to 10. They are fed with buckets of porridge, milk, butter, and couscous per day, so men would want to marry that girl. The practice of force feeding is known as gavage, a French term used to describe fattening up of geese to produce foie gras, a delicacy produced from their enlarged livers. It can leave a young girls with diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease for life. Mauritanian men see large girls and women as desirable, and it is a sign of wealth, and that a girl will make a good wife. Some families have turned on to chemical gavage, with girls buying drugs such as corticoids, steroid hormones, to get bigger and increase their chances of marriage. Please, may I ask you to subscribe to the channel. Also, feel free to comment or suggest what you want added to the channel. This is Out Channel. You and me. Thank you. Prevalence of female genital mutilation is alive and well in Mauritania. Let us leave it at that. There is a high level of divorce in Mauritania. Why the way divorce is celebrated? Yes, you heard me right. Divorce is celebrated. This is not what you would expect in the Western world or the majority of Africa for that matter. The joy and happiness is to advertise that the woman is available for the potential suitors. Divorced women are held in high regard because they are perceived to have a wider experience. Please take a listen to the video.
Music, friends, and laughter. It's a Saturday night, and 29-year-old Fatima is celebrating her divorce.
I'm happy to start a new life. The beautiful women in our country are the ones who divorce and marry again. I hope I'll find someone who will make me happier than the one I was with.
Fatima was married for a year and a half before her husband left her. In Mauritania, divorce does not mean stigma, rather the opposite. Any woman here can hold a divorce party, but must wait 3 months after separation. According to Islamic law, this is to ensure she isn't pregnant.
Divorcing in our country is normal. This party is for the woman to show that she is now free, so that if there is someone who is looking, he will know that she is now available.
I've got divorced 4 times. I have 2 children and I live a happy life. No woman wants to divorce, but sometimes when there are too many problems in a marriage, it's the only solution.
The practice of these divorce parties is common mainly among the Moor community, who make up over 80% of the population here.
According to the Moor tradition, the wife can decide to get a divorce if her husband breaks certain rules like insulting her or taking another wife. There are a lot of poems about divorcees that, for instance, say, abandoned by one but loved by all. Divorcee, you are the most gracious of divorcees.
For Mauritania's men, although divorced women are generally valued highly, not everyone agrees.
Maybe celebrating a divorce is a way to get revenge on the husband. But me, I'm not amongst the men who prefer a divorced woman.
Divorced
women in Mauritania are more desired because they are less demanding and they have experience of marriage.
They may be more desired, but financially, they could find themselves having to support children on their own. To do that, some come to this so-called divorcee market in Nouakchott to sell the furniture usually left to them by their former husbands.
The divorced women sell their items to us when they go back to their parents' house because their parents already have everything. They are also selling to cover the expense of their children's education, health, clothes, and so on.
Some in Mauritania are worried about the country's high divorce rate and the potential impact on families. But for now, it seems this tradition.
Please kindly subscribe to the channel. It is free, and you will be supporting me to grow the channel. Thank you. Just before we dive into Mauritania, let us explore. Here is a simple question. Would you marry a divorced man or woman, regardless of their standing? Do you feel shortchanged by marrying a divorced person? Or simply, should divorced individuals be looking for their kind divorced to marry? The attitude towards divorce can vary significantly between Western, Eastern, and African cultures. In this context, our discussion is based on African culture. Divorce is still very much frowned upon in many countries in the world. The reasons could be to do with cultural and religious social norms, or it could be how people have been brought up with the perception that divorce is bad. It brings shame to the family, especially families that are brought up in a Christian way, along with face saving. Some families allow little to no mistakes when it comes to maintaining the family's honor, and divorce is something that disturbs it. Some families see divorce as an imperfection in a supposed perfect, lovely marriage, especially when a married couple is supposed to stand through thick and thin at each other's side, thinking about loyalty, tolerance, and endurance in a relationship. Also, people tend to look at divorced ladies as a used person and by human nature, and people tend to gossip and talk bad about it. The bad gossip is what some of the families cannot handle or tolerate well. This is equally frowned upon when a spinster-esque single woman marries a divorced man. Not only is the spinster shortchanged, but also the family is shortchanged too. In an African culture, one is getting married to the whole family, not just the spouse. Huge responsibility swings in. So what about in the spiritual side? Let us dive in. On the spiritual side, marriage between a man and woman is a holy matrimony recognized in the eyes of God, friends, and family. So there is just one marriage, not 2, 3, 4, or 5. Divorce breaks the sanctity of marriage, as though marriage was a plaything to be taken lightly. So it is very much frowned upon in some countries, or some families for that matter. In Western society, they tend to see divorce as part and parcel of life, rather than a taboo, as opposed to Easterners and some African countries. The key word is, do not shame God, your family, and community. The stigma attached to divorce is compounding. Here is a Chinese proverb: for men, do not ever choose the wrong career. For women, do not ever marry the wrong man and not a divorced man. Divorce is solving the effect, when in fact it should be preventing the effect you should have tackled, which is the cause. Let us take a look at Mauritania. Mauritania has the highest level of divorce. The high divorce rates in Mauritania are influenced by a unique blend of cultural, gal, and social factors. In Mauritania, divorce is celebrated, especially for women, as it signifies newfound freedom and opportunity. This is rooted in the country's matriarchal Moorish culture, where women enjoy a significant degree of autonomy. There is a concept of a matrimonial career in Mauritania, where women may marry multiple times throughout their lives. A woman with experience from previous marriages is often seen as a more desirable prospect than a young, inexperienced bride. The metaphorical divorce market is a space where divorced women can reestablish their social status and are considered desirable for remarriage. Divorce parties are very common in Mauritania. They celebrate the woman's availability for remarriage. Islamic law, which governs marriage and divorce in Mauritania, includes a provision known as khul, allowing a woman to seek divorce by compensating her husband. This empowers women with a significant degree of agency in editing their marriages. There is also economic empowerment. The process of divorce often involves women selling items from their previous marriage, which can alleviate financial burdens and empower them as entrepreneurs, ready for a fresh start. There is a belief that a woman becomes more beautiful and experienced after divorce, making her more attractive for remarriage. This perspective challenges traditional narrative and encourages women to initiate divorce if they feel their needs are not being met. These factors contribute to a societal environment where divorce is not stigmatized but rather seen as a normal and even positive transition life. It is important to note that while these factors offer some insight, the reasons behind high divorce rates can be complex and multifaceted. In Mauritania, men's perceptions of divorce are shaped by a mix of traditional expectations and modern realities. Because of the economic pressures, men find it increasingly challenging to meet the rising expectations of marriage, which include providing for extended family members and fulfilling the growing material desires of their wives. Mauritanian men are navigating a complex landscape where they must balance traditional marital rules with the more modern pursuits, often leading to a difficult straddle that can strain marriages. Divorce and be costly. The legal and financial implications of divorce under the new family code can be daunting for men, as they may be required to pay a significant sum, take care of children, and even sacrifice their homes after a divorce. Outside the urban areas, men may face societal pressure to marry young women as second, third, or fourth wives, which can lead to unstable marital relationships and, consequently, higher divorce rates. Interestingly, most Mauritanian men believe that divorced women are more mature, experienced, and understanding of life's challenges, which contrasts with the perception of unmarried women as more narcissistic. Celebration of divorce sounds strange. While divorce is celebrated for women, it is not clear if men share the same enthusiasm. However, the cultural acceptance of divorce suggests that it is not as stigmatized for men as it might be in other societies. These insights suggest that while men may face challenges with the expectations and realities of marriage and divorce, there is also an understanding and acceptance of the changing marital landscape in Mauritania. It is important to note that while men may not experience the same level of financial hardship as women post-divorce, they still face significant economic consequences and must find ways to adapt to their new financial reality. Mauritania is the exception when it comes to stigmatization. Divorce is still stigmatized in a lot of countries. This is all, folks. Thank you so much for your attention. Catch you soon. Stay blessed.